Colby Covington proved his worth after being stripped of UFC title with 541 strikes in Robbie Lawler domination. Colby Covington proved his worth after dominating Robbie Lawler in 2019. Covington takes on Joaquin Buckley on Sunday in Tampa, Florida, in the main event of the final UFC card of 2025. The American fighter has a point to prove after losing 3 of his last 5 fights. In all 3 he missed the chance to win the UFC welterweight championship, having previously been stripped of the interim belt in 2019 just months after winning it. After claiming and then losing his belt, he bounced back in style in his next fight against Lawler, and will hope to rekindle that freighting form to end 2025 on a high before he eyes another shot at glory. Covington was on a 6-fight win streak going into the bout with Lawler, having claimed the interim belt by defeating Rafael dos Anjos by unanimous decision at UFC 225 in June 2018. But Covington, 36, was stripped of the title as he needed to get nasal surgery on his nose following the victory over the Brazilian. Former UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley, who had been out for a year, then returned to action and fought Liverpool's Darren Till. This was instead of Covington, in what was a bizarre set of circumstances for UFC standards, as President Dana White would usually wait for the interim contender to heal and challenge for the unified belt. Covington was then lined up for a fight against an aging Robbie Lawler who, although is a former champion himself, was far past his better days. Lawler couldn't stop Covington in round 1, as the latter transitioned from single to double legs and dominated his opponent on the ground. It was a ridiculously fast-paced first 5 minutes, and by the time round 2 had came round, Covington's pressure was relentless. He had landed 5 out of his 8 total takedowns and was overwhelming ruthless on the stand-up too. Chaos would find himself in the same position over and over again, sucking Lawler to the cage and dragging him to the floor most of the time during his dominating start to the bout. Covington completed a lovely double leg at the start of round 3 as he made it 9 total takedowns, aiming for his career high of 12 against Bryan Barberena in 2016. Lawler attempted to change the pace as the clock ticked on, but momentum wouldn't swing in his favor as Covington was relentless. The Californian did hurt Covington a few times, but both men were so durable they were able to withstand one another's big shots. Covington had landed 382 strikes with 7 minutes left in the fight. In the final round, Lawler knew he needed to KO Covington in order to win and attempted to unload on Covington, who did well to see out the contest. Bruce Buffer read out the judges' scorecards after the tough 25 minutes, and all 3 scored it in favor of Covington, 50-44, 50-45, 50-45.